Hello, my name is Mabel. I'm a sourcing agent from Guangzhou, China. As you all know, I help business to source products from China and then you sell it. A lot of you who might be watching the video right now are Amazon sellers. I did an interview with a successful Amazon seller, Dano Falk, on Monday. And the video is in my channel. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go to my channel and look for it. And the video was about how to sell on Amazon, step 1, product launch checklist. If you're watching this video right now, subscribe to this channel. And today, we are gonna invite Dano back to the interview. And there is a Q&A session if anybody is watching live as well. And we are going to talk about how to sell on Amazon, step 2, product ranking strategies. Let's welcome Dano. Hi, Dano.
Hey, Mabel. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. All good so far. Still locked down, but that's good also.
Yeah, it's a holiday in China. So it's a Labor Day holiday, 5 days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here too.
So today we're going to talk about products ranking strategies.
Yes, correct. I prepared some slides up to continue with our last topic, which was how to optimize your listing, which is what we need to do before we even think of ranking. And today I will present some strategies how to effectively rank your product, how to come up with a plan.
Sounds great. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Me too. And we are live. Yay.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, if anybody is watching live, you can also put down the questions in the chat box.
Yes, I don't see the chat right now, but you will let me know, right?
If
any question, you let me know. Okay, cool. Good. So do you see my slide somewhere? Okay. Yeah, that's the first slide of the presentation. Today's topic, Amazon ranking strategy and how to run an efficient ranking campaign without wasting money. So as you mentioned before, we have this bird's eye view, like the big picture of ranking on Amazon or launching a product on Amazon. And the first 2 steps are selection and sourcing. And that's where you are helping Amazon sellers. And then shipping and then listing creation. That's mostly overlapping. So in my business, I was always creating like a very basic listing and then creating the FNSKU codes and all the barcodes. And then when my inventory was shipping, I was actually creating the listing and optimizing it. And that's what we covered last time. And then as soon as our product arrives, obviously the next thing we want to do, we want to get it off the ground and start ranking and getting reviews and eventually make organic profitable sales. So looking into this 5th step here, which is ranking and review generation, I broke it down into these 5 sub-topics, which is first of all to decide on the keyword you want to rank for, determine the daily sales you need to match, to plan your campaign, to diversify traffic sources, and run the campaign until you reach your target.
Sounds great. And just to remind you guys, number 4, can you go back to the last slide?
Yeah.
Step number 4 was a topic that we talked about in our previous video, and you can find the video in my channel.
Good. Okay. So yeah, just a quick introduction. My name Dano Falk from Germany, online marketing consultant, graphic designer. I started in 1996. With online stuff and have built several agencies and businesses in the last 20 years. And in 2014, I started my Amazon private label business, which I sold in September last year. And Mabel also helped me with sourcing and several other issues I had in this endeavor. And she was of great help. And since then, since September, I'm focusing on my consulting business. I'm helping other Amazon sellers. And you can reach me by simply sending an email to dano@devdevice.com. So let's dive right into it on how to rank on Amazon. The big picture is that Amazon wants to make money and they want happy customers so they can continue making money. Hence, the A9 algorithm favors listings which sell well and make customers happy. So in order for your ranking to stick, you need a product that makes customers happy. But to get to page 1 for specific search terms in the first place, you need to match the full price sales numbers of your competitors. So that's the big picture. That's like ranking in a nutshell. We need to rank, we need to sell just as many units organically or at full price as other people on page 1 would sell for that keyword.
And may I ask, what is A9?
Well, A9 is like the algorithm. It's the brain of Amazon, which decides who ranks on page 1 and who doesn't. So
okay.
yeah, that's just the name for this system which Amazon has, which is obviously automated and has a lot of artificial intelligence in it. And this system will eventually decide who ranks where. So this is like the guard, you know, to page 1, and we need to comply and we have to entertain this algorithm with our activities, with our listing, with all our metrics of our listing, so that this algorithm will say, okay, we want this to put this listing on page 1 because it seems to be a good fit for the customers and it's selling well, so Amazon is making money out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So deciding on the keyword we want to rank for, first of all, I like to think of opportunity versus search volume as a kind of bell curve. So we have the search volume going from left to right here. And one mistake many sellers make is that they think the higher the search volume, the higher is the opportunity, which I don't think so. I think there is an opportunity sweet spot somewhere between having like too little search volume and between having a lot of search volume, but the keyword not being really relevant anymore or not having enough buyer intent. And I explain later what I mean with this. So picking the right keyword to rank will make or break your campaign success. You can rank for many keywords, but if you want your ranking to stick, you need to pick your keywords wisely. So the end goal is not just to rank and keep on spending money on a campaign. The end goal is for our listing to actually stick and sell organically without us to do any further giveaways or promotions. So in order for that to happen, we have to think ahead and check very carefully which keywords will be fit to do that with our product. So here's an example. So let's say our product would be an adult 10-inch wrist length, lycra, spandex, full finger stretch orange short gloves. So this is the title, and it contains a lot of search terms which we could consider ranking for. And I made a short list here what we could consider. So we could consider the first one, width length orange short gloves, and then lycra orange short gloves, short gloves and gloves. As you can see, they are getting shorter and shorter towards the end. So also the volume will get higher and higher. So now we need to make a smart decision on which of these keywords we want to invest our ranking budget and which one do we want to go with.
Okay. So for the keyword, it's like how many words it's appropriate? Like maybe less than 5 or 4? Like how many keywords do people normally put in on the search?
I'm getting a feedback, Mabel. There's some kind of audio loop going on. Maybe you could lower your volume or something. Oh, now it's better. Yeah, there was an audio distortion right now. Now it's okay. Okay. So yeah, the length of the keyword. I mean, the length doesn't really matter, but from experience, the longer this search term is, the more specific it is, and the less the search volume would be. The shorter it is, the higher the search volume will be and the less specific will be. So the sweet spot is mostly somewhere around 3 words. So if you're launching a product, you will find the sweet spot mostly in like 3 or 4 word search terms, because they have they have high search intent, like buyer intent. So people who are looking for gloves, for example, here, they will consider all kind of gloves. You know, they might not even look for this Lycra orange gloves. They might look for winter gloves, for skiing gloves, for whatever gloves it might be. So it's very non-specific, and it's very unlikely to be successful with ranking for a short and general key search term like that. But the more the higher you go up the list, the more specific you get. But then at some point you will meet this obstacle of the search volume being too small. So if only like 10 people looking for this wrist length orange short gloves in a month, even if we rank on page 1, we don't get much sales out of it because the volume is simply too slow. So this is why I created this bell curve here, which says, you know, somewhere in the middle is the sweet spot, and I will allocate these keywords later where I think they should go on this curve.
Okay.
But yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, you did. Also, I would like if someone who is using like a certain keyword, but like the sales is maybe not so good. Like, how long should they leave the same keyword on to move on to the next keyword to try?
Oh, you mean in case your ranking campaign is not successful?
Yeah.
Well, that's you normally see that rather quickly. So the first step is you do the best you can with your research, and then you decide on one keyword, and then you run your campaign, and then eventually you will succeed and be on page 1. And then as soon as you switch off your campaign, you will see quite quickly what happens. So, you know, we see like keywords which are not fit to rank for our product, they will simply drop. So 1-2 weeks later, you will see your rankings drop. You will get off of page 1, and that's how you know. And that's unfortunately the only way, like, to really know is by ranking and then seeing how what happens to your ranking. But obviously, we don't want this to happen. So we want to see our keyword to our rankings to stick, and that's why we do as much research beforehand as possible. So our investment will actually be worthwhile.
Okay, so about 2 weeks, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So it will take about 2 weeks, maybe, before you see like what organically happens with your ranking, and and that's when you know. Okay.
Cool.
So the next step, what I would do is, as soon as I consider a keyword, let's say we have this list here. So I would take each one of those, and I would simply ask myself the question, what would happen if I was on page 1? So when I manage to rank number 1 for this keyword, how likely is it for my ranking to stick? And can I compete with the product's ranking now in terms of reviews, price, and overall product features? And only if the answer is yes, I should continue. So if I imagine my product now, I mean, this product right now is on page 1, but if it wasn't, I would look at the other listings and I would check them, and especially in terms of amount of reviews, in terms of pricing, and to get a picture of what do products look like who rank on page 1, let's say for orange gloves. And only if I can imagine if it would make sense for my product to compete with these products, only then I would consider to rank for it. Because let's say my product is double the price of the other ones, that's going to be a problem. Let's say my product has 0 reviews and the others have like 1,000 plus reviews, that's going to be a problem. Or if the other products simply have a different feature set like my product, maybe people are looking for something else when they look for orange gloves, then also I should kind of question my decision. So I have to see whether my product would be actually a good fit for customers to find on page 1. And that's the only way my ranking can stick and my campaign can actually be worthwhile.
Yeah.
And the next step would be to do the search volume research, which is obviously just as important, we need to know what is the search volume for these keywords that we are considering. And there are obviously a lot of tools out there. And I listed some of them here, and I don't think this list is complete. There are many more tools which give you search term volume, but we need to get, you know, the volume, the estimate volume. Most of the tools only give us estimates. Then there's no way to like exactly get the volume from Amazon. But every seller tool has its own algorithm how to estimate the volume from BSR and other criteria. So we need to use one of these tools to get the numbers together. And then we come up with a list like this. So now we have our product, we have our search terms, and we have the monthly search volume from our trusted source. And let's say these were the numbers. So let's say the first one has 120 search terms, 950, 1,500, and gloves has 87,000 searches per month, which sounds great. But at the same time, it's a very general term, and even though, you know, this one is way out on our graph of volume against opportunity, I would never consider going for gloves unless I'm already I'm established and I'm ranking for everything else. And I think it's a good idea. Only then I would consider going for these high volume search terms. But in the beginning, I would somehow allocate them like this. So I would say, I mean, first of all, we need a decent amount of volume. So 120 is probably just not enough. So the way I do the math is I divide the monthly volume by 30, and then I would take 20% out of this number, and that would be my potential sales for this search term if I rank number 1. So for 120, it's not going to add up too much. But as soon as I have something around 1,000 or at least a few hundred, this could already be like a significant contribution to my organic sales. So, you know, this is all like, it takes a lot of consideration and thought, and, you know, considering specific, it's not like a science, right, what I'm showing right here, but just considering all the factors, this is somehow how I would distribute these search terms. I mean, there are obviously, from the volume, there is no going wrong. So the volume is definitely the highest for gloves, and this is like the ranking of the volumes here. But the opportunity, I believe, for orange short gloves would be the highest, because from different parts of my research, I would say this has a decent search volume and it is specific enough for my product.
Yeah.
So let's say we decided to go with orange short gloves. So we have to do this research like over and over for all the keywords, and then we kind of come up with our favorite or our list of the best ones. I mean, we can obviously rank for several search terms at a time. But the next step would be to determine the daily sales we need, because as I said earlier, we need to match the number 1 organic sales per day for this keyword in order to rank on page 1. So in our case, we go for orange short gloves, and the math would look like follows. The monthly search volume is 1,005. The daily volume is divided by 30 is 50. And so the amount of units we need to sell through this search term would be 10 per day. So this is, yeah, and this one here is simply based on taking 20% out of the daily search volume. Okay. But there are tools which will give you precise numbers, like Helium 10 Celebro. They will actually come up with a number of giveaways you need to generate every day.
That's a good way to calculate it.
Yeah, and all, as I said, all this is not exact science. There is a lot of, you know, guesswork and estimations in here, even if you use professional tools. So this is just something for us to start with, but we can always continue our ranking campaign if we don't get the results, and the real daily sales volume is probably higher than this or lower. So we will only find out when we run the campaign.
Yeah.
And this would be the plan. So when we plan our campaign, we want to follow the growing spike strategy. So we show an increasing sales spikes within 2 or 3 days gaps, with 2 or 3 gaps in between. This simulates a natural buyer behavior for a product that becomes increasingly popular. And the duration of the campaign should be around 30 days. So, this strategy comes out of experience, and it shows that this would be like the most effective way to distribute our units over time. Because it's not really necessary to like give away like a certain amount every single day. What we want to do is we want to spike. We want to poke this A9 algorithm and tell them, hey, this product has sold like 2 units today. And it will notice, and it will kind of keep this in mind. And then we want to poke it again, like on, let's say, on day 4, and we'll give it another, like maybe 1 or 2 units. And then we want to increase these numbers. So that's how we tell the algorithm, okay, this product is getting more and more popular. And we don't have to do this every day. It's enough to generate these spikes like every couple of days. And the entire duration of this campaign should be around 30 days, because that's how we actually generate a ranking that sticks. If this only happens for a week or so, we might also drop off very fast, and it's not going to be as substantial as just doing it for an entire month.
Yeah.
Clear so far?
Yeah. So I didn't know it actually, like, the 2 to 3 days gap is quite interesting.
Yeah, I think so. It can make a big difference, especially in the amount of money you spend for your campaign, because if you're giving away like 5 units every day, the ranking effect is very similar to giving away 5 units on day 1 and then not giving away any units on the other 2 days. So yeah, what we need is just we have to create this record. Okay, so this product has sold 5 units on this day, and Amazon thinks in these 4-day buckets. So whatever happens within these 4 days in your favor or against you, that's going to be reflecting, on day 5 in your rankings. So we don't have to do all kind of stuff like every single day.
Okay.
And before we start implementing the campaign, we also need to diversify traffic sources. And this is important because our campaign needs to look as organic as possible, because Amazon is smart enough to understand what is natural and what is artificial or promotional traffic. So if all our sales just come from one single website or from one single Facebook ad or messenger bot, they will notice that the only source for this product is this one, and it will kind of be devoted and demoted from its ranking capacity. But if we have a variety of different traffic sources, which is rather easy to generate, then it will be much more organic, and it will come across more like a natural thing, what's happening. So before you start your ranking campaign, make sure that you have these several traffic sources in place. And the easiest one is obviously PPC. And then you can do social media discount coupons within Amazon, which will then be distributed to the Amazon pool of influencers. So that's also a very easy 10-minute thing to do. Then you can think of social media posts. You can, of course, I would use all my existing channels, like when I have a Facebook page, Instagram, when I have my brand website or whatever. I would obviously promote my product on these pages and drive traffic from all available sources, including Google Ads or Google Shopping or influencers. So we just want to create, a bit of buzz around the product. We also can submit a PR, which I forgot to mention here, but the press release can also be very helpful to give this initial little spike to awareness and coverage across media. So we will get people from all kind of websites coming to our listing. So as I said before, you can just use any source available to you to diversify your traffic signature. And then it's time to actually engage our ranking system. And so we need to generate search, find, buys. So why search, find, buy? Is because it's the most natural behavior for a customer to buy a product and has the strongest ranking effect. So there are different approaches, of course, but search, find, buy, as soon as we rank somewhere between page 1 and 3, like better than page 4, we can use the search, find, buy approach, because then people actually go to Amazon, they search for our product, they use our key term, so our search term, and they buy it, and that's the best possible signal to Amazon. Okay, this product is relevant for this search term. And I do have a system which does that. You can find it under imzrankingbot.com. But obviously, there are many systems that can be used to generate these giveaways, like on a time or within a specific time frame. Yeah, so now we are running. Let's assume our campaign is running, and we follow the increments. It's not important to follow the numbers exactly. What matters is to have the increment sale volume over time for your keyword. So let's say our target is somewhere like these 10 units per day, and we just simply crank up the volume on our campaign, and we just create more and more sales spikes over time, and we simply monitor what's going on. So the ranking can happen earlier than expected. It can happen later than expected. You know, our assumptions may have been a bit off about, you know, the sales numbers and the search volume. So all we have to do is just keep going and to just create this little incremental increasing spikes of search, find, buys. And then check our rankings, obviously. I mean, obviously you want to check every day what's going on. And Amazon, as I said earlier, normally changes our ranking after 4 days when it detects some change in sales and conversions. So don't be disappointed. I mean, when you don't see any changes within 3 days, because I remember like sitting there when I started my first campaign, and for 3 days nothing happened, and I was thinking like, oh, this thing is broken, it's not working. But please do not expect anything to happen within 3 days. When like after 6 days nothing happens, then I would consider like checking what's going on. But after 3 days, normally it's very normal, and it will go up and down. So I've seen products disappear from rankings for whatever obscure reason. Sometimes Amazon will just detect something which it doesn't understand, or it's unusual behavior, and then the rankings will drop suddenly, and then 2 days later they will come back and they will actually be better than previously. So we just have to monitor what's going on and just take notice when we have reached our goal, and if we didn't, try to tweak as good as we can. And that's it. So the number of products we needed might have been wrong. So maybe it's actually 15. So, but that's not a big deal. So if we reach 10 and we see we still don't rank for on page 1, so we just keep going, and then we go for 15. But in the meantime, we have collected some experience. We see that ranking is actually improving, and we're actually going up in our positions. So then as long as we are moving forward, everything is okay, and we should just keep going. Yeah, so this is like the bird's eye view of this thing. And so at least we can, this is like what I wanted to cover, and we can do some Q&A now if there are any questions.
I have a question. So you did mention about Amazon prefer the natural traffic than the artificial traffic. So what type of artificial traffic that like normally going on?
Well, artificial traffic would be if, everything we do to rank is by design somehow artificial, because it's not actually a customer coming and buying our product. So our traffic our ranking campaign traffic will be artificial, because it will, first of all, it will come from the same source over and over, right? Because we have a ranking system, whether it's a Facebook page or a messenger or some other source of traffic, this can be detected as one single source. And if all the purchases come from one source, that's what makes it artificial, because there's no diversity. So it's not about like this website is artificial or this chatbot is artificial. It's just about the fact that we have only one source. And that for Amazon would be a red flag, because it's obviously far from normal for all buyers for this product to come from only one source. And Amazon is very good at tracking where the buyers come from, whether they come from Google, from an ad, from a bot, from wherever. Amazon will most likely know where these people come from, and so we don't want everyone to come from the same source. That's what we like an artificial traffic spectrum.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable tips today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, so if anyone wants to reach out, here are some details where you can find my email, my website, and my ranking system. And I wish everyone all the best with their ranking efforts. And thank you, Mabel, for having me here. And all the best to everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I will also put the information of the PowerPoint in the chat box. I mean, the comment below.
In the description, yeah.
You can read that as well. So hopefully see you soon. And next time we can talk about step 3.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Mabel. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.